Hello and welcome to Odson Europa League Match Day 3. We have Dani and Alvaro, of course, as always. Hi, guys, to analyze this new match day. And remember, of course, to leave your comments telling us your tips. And don't forget to press the like and subscribe to enjoy these games that we have on Thursday. We are gonna go group by group analyzing the 8 best games in Group A. Remember that Arsenal and PSV Eindhoven, they have one game less. So Bodø Glimt, they are topping this group, and the Norwegian team are traveling to the Emirates, to North London. Odds are 1.26. Dani, for Arsenal to win. They are coming from a great boost after winning the North London derby. Tom used to say in our Premier League show, Dani, that this Arsenal is very good when they are playing with the starting 11. We have to see how Arteta rotates the team. Perhaps with all these changes, they might suffer a little bit more in the Europa League because the main competition is the Premier League.
They did changes when they played at Zurich and they won in match day 1-2-1. With changes, yes, they did suffer a little bit, but they were clear winners. I don't think the win was never in dispute. There are going to be changes for sure, because on Sunday, Liverpool come to the Emirates and Arsenal are with a great chance this season to win the Premier League, maybe? I don't think so, but to finish in the top 4 for sure. And yeah, the game on Sunday is crucial. So they're going to make changes, but they come with a lot of optimism. A very good win against Tottenham, not only for the results, but for the way it came, for the way they played the ball. You know, Thomas Partey goal, 25 passes leading up to the goal. And, you know, these are all good signs, despite of how the Spurs defense cope with it. There are players that are really confident, really in form, apart from Gabriel Jesus. Martinelli, for example, is the only Premier League player to have completed more than 15 take-ons. So there is also that confidence, that swagger, if you like, to try stuff. And obviously, yeah, the addition of Zinchenko, of Jesus, have benefited the team a lot. Players with experience. Second best defense in the Premier League, Arsenal, only 8 goals conceded, only 1 game lost against Manchester United, where for large parts they were toe-to-toe with Man United. They always score 2 goals or more, apart from the game against Manchester United. Only 3 clean sheets. So normally the games of Arsenal are high scoring. There are going to be changes. Bodø Glimt, we learn how they play. They are a very aggressive team. They play well, you know. They are a physical team, but they like to play the ball well. At home, I think Bodø Glimt can be really, really dangerous for any sides in the Europa League. Away, not so much. Only 1 win in the last 13 away European games. Last season, I remember they did 2-2 against Roma, but then in the quarterfinals, they were beaten soundly 4-0. So I understand why Arsenal are slightly favorite. For this one, I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to go for a both to score, which I think it pays really, really well. 197.
Well, 4 points for Bodø Glimt. They are second in the Norwegian league after Molde. So it's not that easy as some people might think if they heard Bodø Glimt, Alvaro.
Yes, well, they are not going to win the title, that's for sure, because they are very far away from the top, and they are not therefore to get back-to-back Norwegian titles. That said, yes, they are a good side. This is their first competitive game in England, which tells you that this is a team that has been lately escalating, or they have a project that has been escalating up to this point. Now they are playing against Arsenal. They are doing well in the Europa League because they've got 4 points, and they got an ascending trajectory in Europe. I mean, they were winning or not playing the Conference League last season. Now they are in the Europa League, and for example, they drew in this current Europa League 1-1 with PSV Eindhoven, which is not bad at all. I mean, they tend to concede as of late, that's for sure. They have had only 2 clean sheets in the last 10 games. But still, Bodø Glimt, I think that they are one of those sides in Europe, underground sides in Europe, a little bit like Victoria Pilsen 2-3 years ago, that they come out there and they got a good project, no significant losses in the summer, therefore they are still punching above their weight. I mean, they've got a scorer, Pellegrino, who scored 20 goals in the domestic campaign, and probably he's the brightest star in the team. And they are playing against an Arsenal side that will rotate a lot in the Europa League and won't rotate at all in the Premier League. The other day, before the game against Tottenham, Thomas Partey, Zinchenko, and even Martin Odegaard were out for the game, and Mikel Arteta played them because he knows that they are so important if they want to qualify for the Champions League this year. So that means that in the Europa League, he's doing the reverse thing. He's rotating a lot. For example, in the first game in the Europa League against Zurich, from the theoretical lineup that Arteta will field in an ideal world, his preferred lineup, Arteta only played with Gabriel Magalhães, Granit Xhaka, and Martinelli. The rest of the 8 players were rotations. So, I think that this Arsenal is going to be very different to the usual Arsenal we see in the Premier League. And Emile Smith-Rowe, a player that probably could use the Europa League as a platform to show his quality and maybe to try to be a starter in Arsenal's team, well, he is not here either. So Emile Smith-Rowe could be one of those very good players who will be playing this game. But unfortunately for him, he's got a groin injury and he underwent surgery. So for this game, I'm going to back Arsenal winning, but with an Asian handicap plus for Bodø Glimt. Asian handicap +2 for Bodø Glimt. 190. I really like this one.
It's good.
Yeah, meaning that, of course, Arsenal, if they don't win heavily, you will get your money. And also the first half double chance is worth mentioning. I'm not keeping it, but it pays 234.
Okay, Bodø Glimt not getting thrashed at the Emirates. PSV are playing in Zurich. They have to win this game in Switzerland to get to 4 points. This is on Group A. We go to Group B, and here we are going to analyze Rennes, Dynamo Kiev, 4 points for the French, 0 for the Ukrainian, and the French getting better and better in the league. And they are 6 right now. They beat Strasbourg on the road. Usually when they are playing at home, they are a very strong side, and the odds, Alvaro, is 1.56 for Rennes to win. Perhaps this is good for a safe bet, and perhaps we can go even Asian handicap for this game for Rennes.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, in fact, if you want to booster that a little bit, you have to combine Rennes to win with goals. And I think that wouldn't be too crazy because, Rennes have scored 12 goals in their last 4 games at home. They are scoring a decent lot of goals when they play in front of their crowd. They are a team that they are improving, I would say. For example, before the international break, they drew with Marseille, which is obviously a very good result for them. And they have been 7 games unbeaten now. They are facing Dynamo Kiev, and this is a side that we know in which conditions they are right now. They have lost 2 games here in the Europa League already. They don't have a big margin, that's for sure. They lost to Fenerbahce 2-1. They lost against AEK Larnaca 1-0 in Krakow because Dynamo Kiev doesn't play in their home ground. And the truth is that they are not losing for a big margin, but they are losing. And then they haven't kept a clean sheet in the Europa League at all. So therefore, I think that I am inclined here to back Rennes. Rennes to win and over 1.5 goals. That pays 173. I think that is conservative enough, really, considering how Dynamo Kiev is right now. And also, since Rennes has scored many goals at home lately, in fact, as I said before, 12 in the last 4 games, if you have to choose between over and under, or over or under 2.5 goals, I think that you have to incline for over as well. So over 2.5 goals, 1.8.
I like it, and I put that together and actually get a little bit more odds. If you like Rennes win and over 2.5 goals, that gets you up to 199. But yes, I totally agree with Alvaro. Rennes win could be a win with a couple of goals at least from the French side. Also because Dynamo Kiev, they've been poor recently. They only scored 3 in the last 4, and they never score more than a goal this season. They already lost 5 games since August. They were easily beaten by Benfica in the knockout stages of the Champions League, 5-0 on aggregate. Whereas Rennes, as you mentioned, Edu, they are unbeaten in 5 in League 1. fun, and they got 4 different goal scorers in the Europa League so far. So, they can find the net with many different players. Dynamo Kiev in Europe recently, bad form, really. The Champions League, they crashed out last season, lost the last 4 Europa League games, and Rennes only lost 1 of the last 11 games in Europe. So that tells you Rennes gets stronger and stronger with the time. Agree with Alvaro. Rennes win and over 2.5 goals, 199.
Next group, Group C, the best game we have in this match day, without a doubt, in my opinion. Roma, Betis. Roma, that is a strange team. When they deserve to win, they lose, like against Atalanta. Probably when they deserve to lose against Inter, finally they win. They were very clinical with that goal scored by Dybala, the header scored by Smalling, and in the Europa League, because they lost against Ludogorets, they have to win this one. If Ludogorets win both back-to-back games against Helsinki, Roma can be in trouble if they are not able to beat Betis at home.
Yeah, I think they go into this game with a confidence very high after a couple of years, beating a top team, because they never managed to do the last season, also under Fonseca a couple of seasons ago. They never beat a top team, and they went to Milan and got the 2-1. I don't think they did enough to win the game. Actually, I don't understand why Mourinho started with Abraham on the bench in the first half. It didn't work. They found the goal with Dybala. In the second half, they hung on. And then, the difference this season is that, it's the second season of Mourinho in charge. You can tell the team has improved. You can tell they got a stronger mentality. They are more resilient. They hang on into games a little bit more. Yes, I think they were a touch lucky, but the week before against Atalanta, as you mentioned, they were massively unlucky. They should have at least got a draw. So, in the end, I think the points even themselves out. The issue with Roma is against very technical sides, or against sides that press very high, the midfield of Matic and Cristante is a little bit lacking, a little bit of creativity. Is all the same. The two players are very, very similar. So that's why you need Dybala, Zaniolo, and I think you need Abraham as well to play up front, or Belotti, which probably will start this game. Concerning for Roma is the fact that they only kept 1 clean sheet in the last 6. Last season, they managed to keep 15 clean sheet in Serie A. So there is still a little bit of imbalance there. But in Europe, recently, the campaign has been really good. Obviously, they won the Conference League last season. In the Europa League, the season before they reached the semi-final, they are unbeaten in the last 20 European home games. So they can negotiate them really, really well. They are first for shots, by the way, in the Europa League. Even when they lost to Ludogorets, they had a lot of chances, only conceded 3 shots overall in the Europa League. But okay, they played Helsinki at home, which also were down to 10 men. And actually, the first half of Roma against the 10 men of Helsinki wasn't that great. But I think Betis is one of those sides that in Europe always play, with the head up high. We saw it last season as well. I like them. Over 2.5 goals, 187.
I also like Betis, but especially in La Liga, no? In Europe, still they have to perform better. Alvaro, they lost the second game of the season against Celta. This is a big scenario, a flashy game for Betis after some years out of Europe. Well, last year they played in Europe and they qualified for the knockout stages, but they went out against Leverkusen, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
The thing with Betis is that last season they were struggling against teams with a lot of pace. And I think that in La Liga is fine because La Liga is very tactical. But then in the Europa League, especially when you play against German sides, you suffer. But Daniele said something very interesting here, that Roma also can be a little bit rigid in midfield as well. I think that I'm going to back Betis to win just because the money is very good. Simple as that. No, really, because sometimes the odds offer you a little opportunity here, and I think that the possibility or the chance of Betis to win this game is not as low. Really, I think that this Betis side is dominant. This Betis side has a lot of quality up front. Fekir is back, by the way, which is very important. He played against Celta, and Fekir is the best player of Betis, to put it nice and simple. And then there are some other, let's call them secondary players who are not secondary at all, like Canales, like Borja Iglesias, for example, who are really good as well. Borja Iglesias, for example, I think that it's time for him to start in the Europa League, because so far in the Europa League it's been William José, the one starting. But for this game, this is the important one. I think that Borja Iglesias is going to start. Hopefully Canales as well. Fekir is there. Luis Enrique, a footballer that they have signed from Brazil, has had a very good landing in Spanish football. He's tricky. He dribbles past players, and he's got some very good energy and electricity. And Betis' defense is good as well. I mean, it's true they lost against Celta the other day, but they were reduced to 10 men. And Betis this season, they have played 10 competitive games and they got 4 clean sheets. I know that Roma, they are playing at home. I know that Mourinho is one of the top managers in the world. Still, in my opinion, he can create really good, solid teams, especially in tournaments, maybe more than in leagues, but in tournaments, he knows how to do it. And this is a special game for both managers because both Mourinho and Pellegrini had their own controversies in Spain, especially spurred on by Mourinho. Let's tell the truth. He said that if they sack him from Real Madrid, he will never coach a team like Malaga. Well, that Malaga of Pellegrini beat Real Madrid Mourinho in the league that very season. And then in the Premier League, when they had equal sides, one with Chelsea, the other one with Manchester City, each of them won one league. So Pellegrini is a very good manager as well. So I'm going to go for Betis to win. I think that the odds are very inviting.
This is a good clash indeed. Pellegrini against Mourinho. Next game, Group D. We have Braga and Royal Union Saint-Gilloise with 6 points. But we chose the other game, Malmo Union Berlin, because we have to analyze the leader of the Bundesliga still, because they lost in the weekend against Frankfurt. But Union Berlin, they are still in the top of the standings. And Alvaro, they have to win in Sweden because both teams are with 0 points. Loser goes home.
Absolutely, yeah. It doesn't look good that the Bundesliga leader has 0 points in the Europa League. Malmo has 0 points too. I mean, we have to say that. But it looks weird. Maybe we should be calling Radek right now for him to tell us what on earth is going on here. Union Berlin lost in the weekend. It wasn't an easy game, in my opinion, because they were playing against Frankfurt away, and Frankfurt was trying to get their best form ahead of the game against the Spurs, Tottenham. But still, 0 points in the Europa League right now for the leader of the Bundesliga. That is a bit weird. Malmo is fourth in their own league. The truth is that in this Europa League, they have been very underwhelming. The truth is that they are 28th on attempts on goal, and there are only 32 sides in the Europa League. They are rather defensive. For some reason, they cannot find good places to shoot. They have been dominated so far. And the truth is that for this game, I might go for a pass here, Edu, because I think that really, I know that this is too conservative from me, but Union Berlin is not giving me any guarantees in the Europa League. They are playing away to Malmo, and Malmo is a little bit the same thing. I mean, on paper, yes, Union Berlin are better, but I think that from the two games of this group D, the one that I'm going to put my money on is in Braga Saint-Gilloise. I will explain later because I'm keeping that game for Mayaca. But this game is a little bit of a pass for me because the odds for Union Berlin are for me not too appealing.
I like the odds actually. I like Union Berlin, and I'm gonna go for Union Berlin to win. It's very high, 2.05, because I think in terms of quality, if they play both the strongest starting level, Union Berlin are stronger, and they played 2 tough games against Union Saint-Gilloise when they had good chances. They played against Braga, so that should be the easier game for them. When it comes to Malmo, I think they've fallen a lot. Last season they were in the Champions League and they finished bottom of the group, but now they are bottom of the group in the Europa League. They are 4th domestically. Last season they won the league on goal difference, and I think they just got worse, really. Also because they lost the manager, Tomasson. They lost Birmanjevic, who scored 15 goals for them. Kolak last season scored up to 22 goals, and now he's gone to Rangers. I think they are below par, below standard here. It is a difficult one to bet. I do agree with you, but I do fancy the stronger team here to go and grab a win, even if it's a small margin win, 205. That's the odds.
We are going to have a new champion actually in Sweden. We have Djurgården and Häcken. Häcken, never heard about this team, to be honest. Fighting for the
Djurgården is from Stockholm. I know that Djurgården is from Stockholm.
Djurgården is a classic, kind of. And then we have Häcken with the same points. Far away from Malmo, we go to the next group. We go to Cyprus because we have Omonia Nicosia, Manchester United, and probably is a good trip for Man United, Dani, to gain confidence after getting 6 in the Manchester derby when things don't look good for Man United. They have an easy game like against Sheriff in the Europa League, probably. Time for Ten Hag to change some pieces and got a convincing victory to play again in the Premier League.
Hagen, by the way, is the second team from Gothenburg. How can we not know? I mean, obviously, we got Wikipedia. Manchester United. The good news is they don't have to play Haaland and they don't have to play Man City at least for a couple of months, unless they meet in the cup competitions. Look, we shouldn't consider the game at the weekend to analyze this game against Omonia, okay? Because it's completely different. Probably I don't want to sound disrespectful to Omonia, but it's a different sport, okay? Playing against Man City is like playing against the all-star of the NBA at the moment. However, Manchester United could have done better at the Etihad. The attitude was poor. The belief was poor. It looked to me like after 5 minutes, they already knew they were going to get beaten. The press wasn't really that strong, was a little bit lax. But, credit to Den Haag for trying to win the game with the weapons he has. So he put the strong 11 he has. He trusted the team that he's done so well recently. And he said, okay, let's go and try and play our football. The problem is that the football that Manchester United plays and the way they set up is nowhere near the standard of Manchester City. When he took the other 18 teams of the Champions League of the Premier League in consideration, I think they can give everyone a game, but not Man City. It was the right formation. I didn't understand why he didn't put Ronaldo on, to be fair. He's one of your best players anyway. Doesn't matter if you're down 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. He's still a goal machine or a goal animal. He can still score you a couple of goals. And, he can soften the blow. But in the end, it was Martial who came on and scored twice.
He's playing wide.
Yeah, but I don't agree with him. I don't think it's a matter of respect. Football players are there to play. Doesn't matter, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 6 minutes. What's the matter? If you got a good player, why not playing him? Don't you agree?
It's irrelevant if I agree, but he explained that. I mean,
I know it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
I know it's irrelevant because obviously you cannot change the history.
I'm with Dani, to be honest. If you are on the bench,
you can play. You are available. You are available to play, and I don't think he's not a 15 years old Ronaldo. He can come on and play. And if Manchester United wanted to get back on the game, why not put in one of your best strikers? But anyway, he will play for this one. I'm sure he will be chuffed to play against Omonia. Ronaldo and score again in the Europa League. Look, they won 5 of the last 6 away games in the Europa League, Manchester United. So that clearly tells you that they are stronger than the opposition that they faced normally in this competition. The last defeat actually was 3-2 in the semi-final against Rome when they already qualified. It is very difficult to find values here, okay? Considering how strong are Manchester United, even with the second 11, even if Maguire plays, okay? That is such a figure of ridicule here in England. It's difficult to find a value. You might want to pass it, but if you really want to squeeze something out of it, Manchester United to score in both halves, 187.
I remember Ronaldo to score in Cyprus, actually playing against Apoel with Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinals, I remember. And I have to add, Alvaro, I cannot understand why Casemiro is not playing instead of McTominay, to be honest. Paying such amount of money for Casemiro to keep him on the bench.
I've got the feeling that Casemiro is a club signing, not a Ten Hag signing. He wants midfielders with more mobility. But Casemiro's better than McTominay. I don't like McTominay, basically. He's a player who gets applauded for losing the ball and getting it back. I don't like these kind of players because they basically make the game slower. He's always like making populist fouls, populist runs. I don't know if he will play here. I guess that Casemiro will be playing in Cyprus. You're right, Cristiano Ronaldo has played against Apple 4 times. And he has scored 6 goals against them, all with Real Madrid. Manchester United has never played in Cyprus. I think that the other day against Manchester City, they were just playing against a side that is better than anyone else in England right now. If there is anything that I could criticized from Manchester United rather than the defense, because I think Manchester City was too much when they were attacking, is the plan they had going forward. I believe that the only plan was making sure that the ball somehow got to Bruno Fernandes, and he was just sending the ball forward to Marcus Rashford, but Marcus Rashford was too on his own, too isolated. That didn't work. Some sides, for example, with less talent than Manchester United, this season they have had a plan going forward. I remember Newcastle very well. The whole plan was to send the ball to Saint-Maximin on the left, but they were making sure that they found him. And from there, well, Saint-Maximin was dribbling past somebody. But Manchester United didn't have any plan attacking, and that was the concerning thing. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't play. Now, Daniele, answering to your question, yes, I agree with you. I mean, it's not important what I think, but yes, I agree with you. I think having Cristiano Ronaldo on the pitch is better, is much better for Manchester United, because if you put the ball in the box, I mean, he's more likely to score than Marcus Rashford. But Marcus Rashford, for example, against Arsenal, did one of the games of the season. He was the player of the month in the Premier League. So, you know, he was in a very good form as well. For this game, look, I think that Omonia and Nicosia shouldn't present a massive challenge for Manchester United, because Manchester United has shown very good reactions after comprehensive defeats. Against Brentford, for example, they lost 4-0, and after that, they had a good run. I think that this time they can start having a good run again. And of course, a good run starts on Thursday in the Europa League. I like a few markets here. Both teams to score 225 is pretty good, because Manchester United defense is a little bit leaky. Bruno Fernandes to score from all the scorers is my favorite, because he pays well. 2.3. Cristiano Ronaldo scoring, it pays only 157, and we are not at that point to trust Cristiano Ronaldo so much right now. But Bruno to score 2.3 is all right. But there is another one that I like even more, since I think that Manchester United can win, but sometimes you get very bad surprises. With Manchester United, I'm going to combine something. Both teams to score and no draw. 275.
Oh, good time of the year to go to Cyprus for Man United. No, still good weather. At
30 degrees.
October. Yeah, perfect to go to the beach and enjoy Omonia Man United. And then we jump into Group F, and this one is a funny one. Every single team with 3 points, and we are going to analyze Sturm Graz Lazio, with Lazio flying in Serie A. They are in great form, winning the last 3 games without conceding a goal, but they slipped against Midtjylland in the Europa League, playing away, so they have to win this one, Alvaro, in the stadium once upon a time called Arnold Schwarzenegger, but not anymore.
Yes. By the way, if you like biographies about people who have started from zero and they got to the top, I very much recommend the documentary called Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's incredible. And the footage of him in the 70s, fantastic. Anyway, moving on. I think that this is a game for Lazio. Really, I mean, everyone has 3 points in this group, yes. Lazio obviously is a better side, and Sturm Graz, in fact, they've got 3 points, but they got a -5 goal difference. They lost 6-0 to Feyenoord, and I don't think that Lazio is going to miss their chance here. They show a great reaction after losing to Midtjylland. They have won their last 2 games by the same scoreline, 4-0 at home, 4-0 away, 8-0 in total, and Milinkovic-Savic has scored 3 goals in the last 2 games, which sends me in the direction of the individual scoring market as well. I will tell you now. Matias Vecino is strangely the top scorer of Lazio in the Europa League, with 2 goals scored anyway. But I could go for Lazio and over 1.5 goals, a little combination here. That pays 2. But I like, Immobile to score, it pays 2, which is all right. But Milinkovic-Savic to score pays 3.4, and he has scored 3 goals in the last 2 games. So if you want, wait a little bit until you see the lineups, and if they happen to play, then go for the individual market with Milinkovic-Savic. I think that you can find good value there.
Dani, you were spot on with Lazio losing against Midtjylland. Do you trust this Lazio now?
I do trust them now. I do trust them for this one, for Sturm Graz, but it is right, Alvaro. You need to look at the lineups. For example, against Midtjylland, Milinkovic-Savic started in the second half when they were already 3-0 down. And Sarri cannot play Immobile every single game. They need to give him a little bit of a rest. And unfortunately, behind Immobile, they don't have another striker with the same experience, the same pedigree. They got young Cancellieri. So they're going to make changes here. It's always the big question mark, how many changes Sarri makes. Lazio starting 11 is very strong. The squad is deeper than last year, and you can tell they are obviously improving the second year with Sarri. This team was always going to be destined to improve. Also, they concede not many goals, only 5 goals conceded in Serie A. They scored 17, the second best scorers. But for this midweek game, you need to take them with a pinch of salt. Depends really what kind of formation Lazio puts on the pitch. And, it's the consistency really that they need. They lost 8 of the last 10 away Europa League games, mostly last season and in the season before. So that tells you is a team that alternates a couple of good results to bad slip up, so maybe they don't win the game, etc. So you have to be careful here. But I think Lazio are improving a lot. I like them the way they play. If they play with a starting 11, there is not much. Lazio win and under 3.5 goals, 253. So if Lazio wins, for example, 2-1, 3-0, 2-0, 1-0, you do get 253.
Okay, Group G, we have Freiburg, Nantes. Freiburg, 6 points in the Europa League, second in the Bundesliga. They are in great form, whereas Nantes, close to the relegation spots, in bad form. Dani, should we go for Freiburg?
I don't know. I went for goals. I went for over 2.5 goals here, which pays 192. I think Nantes in a bad form, as you said, whereas Freiburg are stronger. Nantes only won 1 of the last 7. They were thrashed 4-1 by Monaco the weekend. They lost heavily 3-0 to Karabakh. So they would be relegated in France if it wasn't for the goal difference. It is a team that doesn't got a lot of European experience. They come back from Europe this season since a long, long time. No wins in the last 6 away European games. And they play a Freiburg side that are in good form, second in Bundesliga. They got a player that is really doing marvelous. Gregorish is in great form. 2 goals with 4 shots in the Europa League. So he's also very clinical. He scored at the weekend as well. They got 6 points, Freiburg, and they deserve to do it. And I think they will qualify from this group. I can see goals here. Over 2.5 goals, 192.
And Nantes are very poor, Alvaro, when they are traveling.
They are very bad away. This season they haven't won away, for example, and they lost heavily against Karabakh, very heavily. They conceded 3 goals in 12 minutes in that game, from the 60th to the 72nd minute. They crumble. It's difficult to trust them, really. And Freiburg's numbers are fantastic. I mean, not only they got 6 points, but I always look at the goal difference, and it's pretty decent as well. They've got +4 right now. They are clearly, so far, the best side of the group. And the truth is that when you look at this game, you think that they come as favorites, heavy favorites. Well, I don't know about that. 160 is what a win pays here. Of course, they are not Barcelona, Real Madrid, or any other top side. So maybe 160 is a little bit inflated. I know that this is based on their Bundesliga form, but it is a little bit inflated. I could go for a positive Asian handicap for Nantes here. That doesn't disqualify Freiburg at all. But an Asian handicap of plus 1.25 for the French side pays 170 as well, which is for me almost as good as Freiburg winning.
Okay, we are not going to analyze this new Olympiacos with our friend Mitchell, but we are going to move to the next group, Monaco Trabzonspor. This is a good game with Monaco going up and up in the league. And actually, they thrashed Nantes 4-1 in the last game, 5 victories out of the last 6 games. And Trabzonspor, Alvaro, the Turkish champion, but they are not in great shape this season, although they are also picking up in the competitive Turkish league with 3 consecutive victories. Monaco to win 1.6.
Yeah, they are picking up, and they got decent players on the ball. I mean, we know about Enis Vardy, the player from North Macedonia. Maxi Gomez is up front. Marc Bartra plays for them as well. So there are a few La Liga castaways that went there. And the truth is that they are not bad players either. And, we all know some players in their squad. The Egyptian Trezeguet, for example, he's got quality as well. But Monaco is in a very decent run, and I tend to back normally trajectories. I think that Monaco, not only they have won the last 2 in a row, they've got 17 goals in the league by this point, which is a lot for a side that is not so high in the table yet. It's true that they concede because they have only been once scoreless in the season against Ferencváros, but Monaco's firepower, I think that is going to show up soon in the Europa League. I mean, in the Europa League, they haven't scored that many goals as in France, obviously, not even in the ratio. But for example, Ben Yedder has scored 3 goals lately, a hat-trick. Embolo is scoring 2. They've got a lot of talent up front. So I believe that Monaco is going to win this game. So for example, Monaco and over 1.5 goals. I like it, 173. Both teams to score is all right, 179, but I prefer the previous bet I said. And even Wissam Ben Yedder to score a goal, 183, a striker that I really like, a striker that if he starts, because you will have to pay attention to the lineups as well, well, if he starts, obviously he can be one of the deadly players, the dangerous players that Monaco needs to win such a game like this.
I promise we haven't texted each other, Alvaro, because we got exactly the same bet. Monaco winning over 1.5 goals. Also because Trabzonspor have lost all the last 6 away games in the Europa League. And what Clement has done at Monaco very intelligently, he moved to 4-4-2 and he said, okay, I got Ben Yedder and Embolo. I play them both at the same time and off you go. They score, they assist each other. They are very, very good. Embolo is a very promising player, but I'm sure you know it. Also, is a very interesting squad, this Monaco side, with Badiashile, Fofana being called to the French team. They play well against Denmark, despite the defeat, against Nantes. They were so good. They were already 2-0 after 6 minutes, and Ben Yedder scoring 3 goals. So yeah, Monaco win and over 1.5 goals. I think they were unlucky against Trabzonspor anyway.
Important for Monaco to win, both with 3 points. Let's go with the safe bets. Dani, your safe bet?
PSV to beat Zurich away, 160.
And yours, Alvaro?
Monaco to win at home, 160.
Okay, Monaco to win. And Alvaro, ACCA?
Very quickly, Monaco to win, Braga to win, Real Sociedad to win, Asian Handicap 0 for Mitchell Olympiacos. Altogether 699.
That's the tricky one, Mitchell not to lose. And Alvaro, Dani, your ACCA?
Red Star Belgrade, Ferencváros over 2.5 goals. Monaco to win. Braga, Union Saint-Gilloise over 1.5 goals. Midtjylland Feyenoord double chance, X2. Total odds 5.95.
Good luck, everyone, with your bets on Thursday. See you next week. Keep enjoying Europa League and don't forget to press the like and subscribe. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Goodbye.